if the playful, addictive summer hit stuck in your head is secretly roasting immature exes everywhere, and maybe someone very specific? Sabrina Carpenter just dropped a track that's got everyone talking, laughing, and guessing, Manchild. Behind the catchy beats and hilarious lyrics is a story that's deeper and more personal than you might imagine. And here's the kicker. Fans believe Sabrina may have subtly revealed a lot more than just a catchy tune. But who exactly inspired this song? Let's dive into the surprising backstory of Manchild. June 5th, 2025. Just an ordinary Tuesday, right? Wrong. Sabrina Carpenter decided to flip the script and release a fresh single out of nowhere, right in the heart of summer. She called it the best random Tuesday of her life. And with legendary collaborators Amy Allen and Jack Antonoff by her side, this was anything but a casual release. Within hours, Manchild had fans hitting replay, dissecting each lyric for clues about Sabrina's personal life. But the real fascination wasn't just the song itself, it was the playful, cutting way Sabrina called out immature behavior. And as listeners dug deeper, one question dominated. Who exactly was Sabrina singing about? From the very first listen, fans quickly realized Manchild wasn't your typical breakup anthem. It was sharper, funnier, and way more savage. Sabrina's lyrics landed like playful punches, wrapped neatly in sarcasm. Lines like, "Half your brain just ain't there. Why so sexy if so dumb?" The genius of Manchild lies in how it makes the personal universal. Sabrina takes situations that could have been bitter and wraps them in wit. She doesn't wallow, she clowns. And that makes the sting hit even harder. Fans didn't have to reach far to connect Manchild to Sabrina's whirlwind romance with Irish actor Barry Keoghan. When their relationship first went public, it felt like a power couple in the making. Hollywood's edgy rising star and pop's next great storyteller. They appeared in photos together at Vanity Fair parties, London dinners, and even cuddled up courtside at Lakers games. But underneath the glam, there were signs of instability. Insiders reported that Barry was known for being intense, unpredictable, and sometimes moody. While Sabrina appeared cool and composed in public, Barry's social presence told a different story. Cryptic posts, inconsistent energy, and frequent shifts in tone. Some fans noticed he would subtly unfollow and refollow her, or post emotionally ambiguous messages that felt like low-key digs. Adding more fuel to the fire, Barry's post-breakup interviews were cryptic. He never directly addressed the relationship, but in one press junket he said, "Some people want a clean ending, I don't do those." Fans took that as a subtle jab, perhaps at Sabrina's tidy public image. None of this proves the song is definitively about Barry, but it paints a picture. The lyrics, the timing, the emotional tone, it all lines up, and the silence from both camps only adds more weight to the theory. If Sabrina's lyrics didn't already scream personal, the Manchild music video practically confirmed it. Visually, it's stunning. A dusty road in the middle of nowhere, an oversized suitcase, and Sabrina hitchhiking through surreal desert towns. But to the fans watching closely, the whole thing plays like a metaphorical map of her past relationship, especially with Barry Keoghan. The first character she meets? A brooding cowboy with dramatic stares and absolutely no idea how to change a tire. Fans immediately tied this to Barry's gritty, hyper-masculine persona in films like Saltburn and the Banshees of Inisherin. He's known for intense, mysterious characters, guys who look cool but have very little emotional maturity under the surface. The cowboy's vacant smolder feels like a parody of that very archetype. Then there's the influencer guy she meets next. Vain, shallow, constantly filming himself. While that may not directly align with Barry, fans point out that he was becoming increasingly public, chasing more press attention, and leaning into red carpet fame during their relationship. It seemed to contrast sharply with Sabrina's more grounded, private vibe. The entire video reads like a breakup therapy session filmed in Wes Anderson colors. Each scene represents another stop on the Manchild spectrum. Each guy a version of what Sabrina had to deal with, culminating in her walking away from them all. By the end, Sabrina's back on the road, confident, composed, and solo. It's not just a comeback arc. It's her saying, "Been there, done that," wrote the hit single. The response to Manchild was swift and overwhelmingly positive. Fans couldn't resist Sabrina's charming delivery and relatable lyrics, quickly labeling it the ultimate summer anthem for anyone dealing with relationship drama. TikTok exploded with thousands of videos featuring reaction clips, lip-sync challenges, and detailed lyric breakdowns that highlighted just how deeply fans connected with the song's playful yet powerful message. Some fans turned specific lines into viral sounds, particularly "Why so sexy if so dumb?" and "Trying to pick a fight on my birthday," turning those lyrics into comedic skits about toxic exes, awkward DMs, and emotionally stunted boyfriends. In less than 48 hours, Manchild racked up millions of views across social platforms. Meanwhile, critics weighed in with their own opinions, fueling debate and discussion. Many praised Sabrina's sharp lyrical wit, calling the track a standout example of how humor and social commentary can merge seamlessly into catchy pop music. Influential reviewers hailed her fresh take on breakup songs, suggesting it set her apart from her peers in a genre often weighed down by cliches. Still, not everyone was impressed. Some critics pointed out that the production leaned heavily on Jack Antonoff's now familiar sound, which, while polished, was starting to feel predictable. They argued that his influence, while effective, slightly diluted Sabrina's unique voice. Yet even those mixed reviews acknowledged one thing: Sabrina had created a cultural moment. Manchild wasn't just a song, it was a mirror held up to modern dating, served with a wink, a punchline, and a message that refused to go unnoticed. Beyond the memes and theories, Manchild hit hardest because it told a bigger story, one of taking back power. Hours after the release, Sabrina posted a cheeky but pointed message on social media. "Thank you, men, for testing me." With just 6 words, she made it clear. This wasn't revenge. This was reclaiming the narrative. It was the kind of humor-laced confidence fans had come to love her for, but this time it felt different, more mature, more deliberate. She wasn't just making a bop. She was turning the emotional weight of a chaotic relationship into art. And people noticed. Fans across platforms started sharing their own experiences, using Manchild as the soundtrack for their glow-up stories. Tweets about cutting off manipulative exes, breaking patterns, and finally choosing peace over chaos began surfacing alongside the song. Hashtags like Gashush, Manchild Anthem, and Manchild Energy began trending, proof that Sabrina's sharp lines had cut deeper than expected. What really stuck with fans, though, was her ability to laugh through it. She wasn't crying in the club. She was dancing in the desert, in a sparkly mini dress, clowning a man who thought he still had power over her. That's what made Manchild more than just a diss track. It was a celebration of moving on, and a warning to anyone trying to come back. Commercially, Manchild skyrocketed. Within its first 24 hours, the single had already topped New Music Friday playlists in over 30 countries, racked up millions of Spotify streams, and entered the top 10 on the global Apple Music charts. It even broke Sabrina's own previous streaming debut numbers, outperforming her last single by a massive margin. Radio stations jumped on the wave, calling it the breakup song of the summer, and late-night talk shows praised her lyrical sharpness with sound bites like Taylor Swift's wit with Gen Z energy. And the momentum isn't slowing. With festival season underway, Sabrina is set to perform at Primavera Sound, Lollapalooza, and Outside Lands, where fans are already begging for Manchild to be added to the setlist. Her team has hinted at a deluxe edition of her short and sweet album, potentially including Manchild and a few unreleased tracks in the same bold, unapologetic tone. Industry insiders are also speculating that this might be Sabrina's awards season breakthrough. With buzz around a potential VMA nomination and talks of Grammy campaign materializing behind the scenes, this single could push her into a new tier of stardom. Simply put, Manchild isn't just a hit, it's a career-defining moment. The story behind Manchild doesn't start with the song. It starts with a red carpet, a film premiere, and a few lingering glances that sparked the rumor mill into overdrive. Here's how Sabrina Carpenter and Barry Keoghan's whirlwind romance unfolded, step by step, and how the clues behind their fallout were hiding in plain sight all along. In December 2023, first sighting rumors begin swirling after Sabrina and Barry are spotted chatting backstage at a fashion event in New York. At the time, Barry is fresh off his breakup with Allison Sandro, the mother of his child. Sabrina, meanwhile, is wrapping up her Emails I Can't Send tour. The vibe? Flirty but under the radar. January 2024, the soft launch. Sabrina and Barry are photographed leaving a hotel in London, separately, but minutes apart. Internet detectives pieced together the location tags from fan photos and confirmed they were both staying at the same place. Within days, TMZ refers to them as Hollywood's next odd couple. February 2024, courtside and confirmed. They make it official without saying a word, cuddled up courtside at a Lakers game, both grinning from ear to ear. Paparazzi photos show Barry with his arm around Sabrina, and fans notice that he's even wearing a bracelet she wore in a recent music video. The internet explodes. Sabrina posts a cryptic story the next day, just a mirror selfie and a caption, "Calm before the chaos." March 2024. The spark starts to dim. Barry gives a few edgy interviews promoting Saltburn, and Sabrina is notably absent from the press circuit. Fans speculate they're trying to stay low-key, but rumors start swirling that there's tension behind the scenes. Barry's Instagram becomes erratic. More shirtless mirror selfies, random poetry quotes, and darker captions like, "Only fools think endings are clean." April 2024, the alleged birthday fight. Sabrina celebrates her birthday with a close group of friends in Malibu. Barry is notably absent. A source tells Dumois that the couple had a disagreement after he showed up uninvited to her studio session a few days prior. Not long after, Sabrina posts a TikTok with the now infamous sound, "Trying to pick a fight on my birthday." May 2024. The silent unfollow fans notice that Barry quietly unfollows Sabrina on Instagram. She doesn't respond directly, but deletes several posts where fans suspected he was referenced. By the end of the month, both are appearing at separate events again. Neither has mentioned the other publicly. June 2024, the quiet breakup. There's no official statement, just silence. When asked about her love life in a Rolling Stone interview, Sabrina replies, "I'm focusing on what I can control. That's my art, my music, and who I choose to keep around." Barry posts a cryptic selfie with the caption, "No comment." June 2025. Manchild drops. Exactly 1 year later, Sabrina releases Manchild. It's funny, it's catchy, but it's also loaded. Fans quickly connect the dots, especially with lines like, "You call your ex just to make me mad," and "trying to pick a fight on my birthday." It doesn't take long for the internet to decide. This wasn't just any song. This was closure, Sabrina's way. When Manchild dropped, all eyes were on Sabrina, but not for long. Because almost immediately, fans noticed something strange on the other side of the breakup. Barry Keoghan's public persona had shifted, drastically. Was it damage control, a subtle clapback, or just a perfectly timed coincidence? In the weeks following Sabrina's release, Barry began posting more frequently, selfies, behind-the-scenes clips, moody black and white photos. But what stood out wasn't the quantity, it was the tone. He leaned hard into his edgy, tortured artist image. Think furrowed brows, shirtless mirror pics, and cryptic one-liners like, "Not all storms come to disrupt." And the villain always has a side too. Was he reclaiming the narrative, or reacting to being labeled the man-child of the year? Post-breakup, Barry signed onto 2 new films. One where he plays a reckless outsider who sabotages his own relationship, and another where he plays a loner cowboy drifting through the desert. Fans didn't miss the irony, especially after Sabrina's video featured a literal cowboy as the first man-child archetype she encounters. Twitter lit up. Did Barry just get cast as the guy Sabrina roasted in the music video? He's leaning into the villain arc, and I kind of respect it. Some fans believe these casting choices are pure coincidence. Others think Barry is in on the joke, or at least knows how to capitalize on the attention. Despite the social posts and career moves, Barry hasn't said a word about Manchild. No interviews, no tweets, no denials, but silence, in this case, has only fueled the fire. In pop culture, not responding is a response. It gives the mystery room to grow. Some fans think he's staying quiet out of respect. Others see it as calculated. Letting the internet speculate keeps him relevant. Regardless, his post-Sabrina glow-up feels curated. Not defensive, but definitely aware. Manchild might feel like the final word, but if you've been following Sabrina Carpenter's recent behavior online, it's starting to look more like a prologue. Because in the weeks since its release, fans have begun asking the question, is there more? And more importantly, is Sabrina already teasing a follow-up? During her recent festival set at Primavera Sound, Sabrina surprised fans by slipping in an unreleased interlude right before launching into Manchild. It was short, melodic, and featured a lyric fans hadn't heard before. "You still call me when you're drunk, don't you?" The crowd went wild, and clips of the moment quickly made their way to TikTok. Fans immediately speculated that the lyric was either from a cut verse of Manchild or a teaser from an upcoming sequel. Some even believe it's part of a three-song arc, beginning with Feather, peaking with Manchild, and closing with an unreleased track that completes the Good Girl Breaks cycle storyline. Sabrina hasn't said anything directly, but fans who know her well say she never posts without a purpose. One Instagram story showed her in the studio with the caption, "Still got a few things to say. Don't I always?" And just days ago, she liked a tweet that read, "Manchild Part 2. Better come with a restraining order and a Grammy." Coincidence? Not likely. Industry insiders are whispering about a deluxe edition of her album Short and Sweet, dropping later this summer. If that's true, Manchild might not be a standalone. It could be the centerpiece of a fuller narrative. Some fans are even speculating about potential titles like Adult Boy or Little Prince, sarcastic spiritual successors that continue the themes of emotional immaturity and false bravado. In a recent interview, when asked about whether Manchild was the last time she'd be writing about this chapter of her life, Sabrina smirked and said, "Let's just say, I'm not done being petty, but I'm classy about it." So no, this story isn't over. If anything, we're just at the mid-credit scene. After all the clues, the timeline, the shade, the theories, and the numbers, Manchild proves one thing above all else. Sabrina Carpenter is no longer just a rising pop star. She's a narrator of her own story, and she's doing it on her own terms. What started as a sarcastic takedown of immaturity turned into a multi-layered cultural moment. It resonated with fans, frustrated exes, TikTok creators, and even critics who weren't ready to admit how deep this petty pop anthem actually went. Sabrina didn't just expose a man-child, she exposed the entire emotional blueprint so many of us have encountered, then turned it into a glittery, defiant, danceable breakup memoir. And maybe that's the true genius of it all. Because in the end, Manchild isn't just about one guy. It's about letting go of anyone who made you feel small, confused, or crazy, and laughing your way out the door. It's not revenge. It's not closure. It's better.